This is Streets of Rage 3. I'm playing this off of the Sonic's Ultimate Collection on the PlayStation 3, but originally this was released for the Sega Genesis in 1994. It's quite a collector's item, and in fact you'll pay more for the Streets of Rage 3 game cartridge than you will for the entire Sonic's Ultimate Collection on PS3 or 360. So unless you're a serious collector, I'd recommend picking this up on the Ultimate Collection. Sadly, it's a game cartridge I never actually owned. I admire this game very much. It has some of the most unique, interesting music and art design that I've seen in any video game ever. And check this out, we have a Revenge of Shinobi sound effect coming up. They may have used it in other games too, but I always think of Revenge of Shinobi when I hear that. For the most part, it's very similar to Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage 1. This is a Sega-produced arcade-style side-scrolling beat-em-up. I think that Streets of Rage 3 is slightly harder than the first two installments, although admittedly I am horrible at side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Perhaps if I could play as a spaceship or transformable robot, I would be better at these games. I think what I'm trying to say is they look easier than they really are. These side-scrolling beat-em-ups in games like Golden Axe are extremely challenging. They require a lot of repeat gameplay to figure out the attack patterns, and especially when approaching the end bosses, they're pretty tough in this game. Or I could just be making up excuses for why I suck at Streets of Rage. I am good at Frogger, though. And Arkanoid. Even if you can't play as a transformable robot or spaceship, you can play as a kangaroo in this game. Except he does not have a flamethrower. You can play as that guy. He's sort of like a robot, except he just doesn't transform into anything. He's kind of fun to play with, actually. He's got the longest reach. If you like side-scrolling arcade-style beat-em-ups, you would be crazy not to play this game. And the other Streets of Rage games from Sega, especially given the very reasonable price at which you can find them today on the Sonic's Ultimate Collection. They're fun games, they're colorful, they're loud and obnoxious, and have extremely high replay value. I should mention that on the Sonic's Ultimate Collection, you do get all 3 Streets of Rage video games. And Zaxxon. If only you could somehow bring the Zaxxon spaceship into Streets of Rage, that would be so cool. What you just saw me do was defeat the trainer before I beat Roo, which then unlocks Roo the Kangaroo as a playable character in the game. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, or if it worked on the Genesis. I imagine it did, but I just don't know. It doesn't matter. It works here. And you earn a trophy which you can cash in for I feel good about myself points. Wish you could buy games with those things, or hamburgers or something. Like a free small milkshake if you have like 300 trophies. Anyway, this is my favorite part of the game. I think the overall design, style, music, and use of the Sega Genesis 16-bit hardware here is incredible. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know if this ever won any awards, but it should have won a music award somewhere. I'll give it the Classic Game Room Seal of Music Award Appreciation Week, which is like 6 rubber bands wrapped around a tinfoil ball. Awesome. Why can't you beat that lady when she's on the ground with your 2x4? Now that makes no sense. Everything else in this game is completely logical, but the fact that you can't pummel people when they're on the ground is absurd. It's distracting because it takes away from the realism. What would a fighting game be without a construction site? That would be like a Van Damme movie where he doesn't take off his shirt, and nobody wants to see that. Oh, wait, that was backwards. Hang on. The best part of this scene is not that she's punching a bulldozer with her fists and somehow not hurting herself, but the fact that the wall has a health bar. There's so many things in this game that would be cool if they happened in real life. Like if you walked around and punched barriers and they had health bars. Or if you knocked over trash cans and found turkeys laying underneath that gave you more health. Magic turkeys, apples. And don't even get me started on how cool it would be if you punched people and they blinked and went away. If that was the case, there would be nobody left on Wall Street. Here I'm playing as Rue, who's pretty much the worst character in the game, but you've got to play him at least once. And that's Streets of Rage 3. An excellent game, you should play it, and I'm going to run around and kick over some trash cans and look for apples. See you next time.